everybody, and welcome to this tutorial, an intro video in which I will tell you how to play and use licks. So in this video I will tell you what a lick is, how to use it, when to use it, and why to use it. So let's start with the what, and with that I mean what is a lick. A lick is basically a stock note sequence. I am a big fan, as you know, of stocking in the sense of building musical vocabulary. So I always tend to say that we have the chords on the one hand, the patterns on the other hand, which is the technique and the rhythm info. And with that you can play something like this. 2 chords, okay? Now if I add rhythm to that, right? So then we have chords and rhythm and it becomes an actual part. If I add even more rhythm and pattern, so for instance, breaking up that chord, right? And then you get to a piano part. Well, there we have chords and patterns, and I always like to tend to say that chords are our words, so that means which notes are we going to play, right? These are the given notes. And then the pattern is how we are going to say or play those notes. Breaking them up, for instance, like this. I'm combining multiple patterns, so this way music can be deconstructed in which notes do you play and how or when do you play those notes. Now, a lick is kind of an extension to that formula in the sense of when we have chords that are words, patterns that are like conjugation, so how do you say and use those words and how do you make them mean different things and all. Licks are kind of like fillers, so in that sense when I play this whole thing, right, that's just chords and patterns, that was actually kind of a lick. Da-da. It's something that you play in between the chords to like in language you have fillers, words like like, you know, and you know, things like that make you sound more sophisticated in a sense. So it's to fill the silences with something that is interesting. On the other hand, they have the function of standard phrases, so to speak, because as mentioned, a lick is a stocked thing. So as I know that I play this chord, if I play it like this is a B flat minor 7, I add a 9 now, but I know that chord, and that is kind of like a word that I know and I can reuse. I know the pattern, which is actually a combination of multiple patterns. I could have also done this, right? Then I play the 8s, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. But if I divide that all up, then I get to that funky pattern, right? So this is taking a lot of steps from like the Basis 101. Now, pattern is also a thing that you can stock and that you then can combine to make multiple filler sentences, so to speak. So if I do something like this, so this is a lick, is another lick, and when I combine those two I get to something like a standard sentence, right? This could be the lick that we'll use as an example. So see, it's a standard thing because now I use it at another moment. Right? So that is a practical example of what a lick is. Now, on to the how. So how do you know which notes to play and how is a lick actually constructed? Well, in regard to rhythm info, the one hand to the equation of playing music, how do you play the notes and which notes. I think that actually the rhythm part is more important, as it actually is in all music, kind of. But you do have to know where you can find the notes. So let's start with that. Things that you can do is, for instance, look in the key of the song, look in the chord. So if I play this and I have this chord underneath my fingers, it's actually a lick as well, right? It's super closely related and actually the same thing as a broken pattern. I just break that thing up from bottom to top, but the rhythm here makes it this lick. Right? I could also do, and I do the same thing now, break it up down, right? And you get to a different thing. So the concept here is breaking up from bottom to top, but that's more like the pattern. The lick that we played was a lick that I found in the chord. Okay, so that's where you can look for licks. The other thing, as mentioned, is to look in the key of the song. So in this case, the key of the song is, right? We're playing kind of, if we refer it back to a major, then it's a C sharp major scale that we're using. And if I use that, so we could also say B flat minor, right? And I think that's more accurate in this sense. So B flat minor, I could actually just use all those notes of the scale to find my licks. Another thing where you can look, and this is maybe easier, a derivative, so to speak, is the pentatonic scale. So, right? So there I use the pentatonic extended with the 9. The rhythmic info is super important and what makes a lick actually that lick. So basically when you can drum it, it's cool. Right? So that's where that rhythm info of that lick comes from. And then using the blue note over there. So I took the notes from the pentatonic scale, from the blues scale, and do. So if you want to build your own licks, then as you see, because if I just play, then it's not cool at all, right? It has to swing in this sense. It has to fit the rhythm of this tune. So the rhythmic info is super important. I could also have done. Just to give you an example, it was kind of sloppy, but I did ta 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 ta. Right? Right? So that's the exact same rhythmic information, but then played another thing. So the stock thing of these licks is from multiple levels, actually. First of all, which note relationship to the tonic or whatever you're referring to are you playing? So you can transfer that, right? If I do this, I can do to have it in A minor. Right? So that's the first thing. Then you have the rhythm info that you can translate to other keys or to other note sequences as I did now. Right? It's the same ta 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 ta, which is cool, but I use different notes. And then you have the grip-like technical effect of how this feels in your hand. And that's also transferable, obviously, if you have something that has a similar grip. So when would you play licks? Well, basically, as mentioned, they're used as being fillers. So you play them, as I exemplified just now, when there's room to do it. So if there is a silence in the chord progression, if there is a pause, if there is no groove going on, then you can use a lick to spice it up to sound more sophisticated. You can also play it instead of the chord. So So that was a lick, right? A melodic kind of thing. They're all very closely related. Instead of the chord, to kind of make some variation, or if you have a whole stock of licks, you can use them when you solo. So then you can stick 2 licks together or 5 licks together inside of your improvisation. So as I played now, I also improvised a lot. So we got this one, right? That was the lick that we're using. So if I do that, I hadn't really thought that out. That was my part of the improvisation, but I combined it with this lick, you know, so you can kind of start building a solo, although this was very short, but you can see how this stacks up to a complete solo eventually. So why would you want to use licks? Well, basically just to add some variation, to sound more sophisticated, to extend your vocabulary and transcend just playing chords and patterns, and as with all things that you learn in music, as a study purpose. Because if you copy licks from someone else, I kind of introduced you to how you could find your own licks, but it also explains how the licks are built that you hear other people play. If you try to learn licks from others and copy others, then you can, you know, play what you like and learn from what they've played, grow as a musician by copying your idols or copying the people that you like. You start to develop your own skill. You see what the thing is that you liked, and that you can reuse that small part in building your own licks, or even combine your own licks with licks from others to create your own style. Okay guys, so that was the introduction video on what a lick is and how you can use it. In next videos, I will get more in depth into each of these parts that I touched real lightly in this video, and obviously we'll get to a ton of different licks. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please hit the thumbs up, like it, share it, leave a comment, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.